Tint Wisdom number 79. Michael Burke, thanks for doing this.
Pleasure, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. We already have some people in the chat, so that's kind of cool. And we can jump right into this. I think, we already have a little bit of a crowd here. So, anywhere specific that you wanted to start? Because last time we spoke, just a couple weeks ago, there was a lot of questions that came in after, both to me, to you, a lot of people reaching out. So we figured like we could address some of those things. I have some questions. Anywhere you want to start, or
First of all, I want to thank you personally for this program.
oh,
I want to thank
welcome.
you for bringing window tiners together. Um, you're remarkable. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate you saying that. And
No,
mm,
here's the thing, Eric. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know you that well, and I really didn't give this channel or what you were doing when you first started very much thought. And then as it progressed, I finally saw its importance. And I had no idea being on this show was going to impact me like it did.
tell me more. Don't stop there.
It's guys like you that
Oh, I
have
don't
a
mean about
different
me. Tell me how it impacted you. I don't want
oh,
you to talk more about me. Tell me how it impacted. What
no,
happened
no,
after the
no.
show? I appreciate you
No,
saying that, but what I'm telling,
no. And honestly, that comes from my heart, man. That's very
I appreciate
sincere.
it.
And we're all busy people. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all businessmen. I mean, I can't even get to every email that comes into my email box, okay? But in my heart, I want to help everyone. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2". I'm 250 pounds. I come across as very intimidating, and not a lot of people want to walk up and talk to me. And now, a lot of with this channel, and what happened to me is I'm getting people from California. I'm getting people from Colorado, Virginia, Florida. I've had a lot of interest in people calling me for advice, and it's very humbling. Uh, I'm a very successful person, and how you measure success is not by how much money's in your bank account. And I want people to understand success is not how much money you have. Success is how much food you put on the table for others. I can go tint windows anywhere in the country. I can go do paint protection anywhere in the country. I can go do flat glass. I can do anything. Personally, with the confidence that I have as a guy that can interact with customers. Okay, it's not necessarily this industry. If you can sell, you can sell anything. Okay, and I'm just very humbled by the people that have been in this industry that have 10, 11,000 square foot buildings, have 11 employees, and they're married to their job. They're married to their business. They don't have time for vacations. They don't have time for anything other than work. And these people are reaching out to me. I mean, lots of people are reaching out to me. And it's just very humbling that what I've created with Sunstoppers, that a lot of people in this industry need coaching. They need advice. They need mentorship. But more than that, they need a brotherhood. They need someone they can bounce ideas off of. And even if I'm just a guy you call at 9 o'clock at night to talk for an hour, um, I had a call with a gentleman in Texas about a week ago, and he texted me the next morning and told me I changed his life. So it's very humbling,
That's
just the
beautiful.
advice that I gave him.
That's that's beautiful, and like it sparks questions I have for you. Which the first question is like, how do you're gonna constantly have this push and a pull, like tug of the sense like you want to give as much as you can, you want to help everyone and so on. How do you deal with the phone? Like, I don't know what level of phone calls you get now, but like at some point you're going to get a lot of phone calls, and then you also have your family, and you also have your business, and you have the other like. And I feel like that's a clear bottleneck that whether it's there or it's on the way, there's only so much Michael Burke to go around, right?
Let me tell you this, Eric. You ever watch the movie The Matrix?
Yes.
Do you remember the time when the Matrix slowed down and he started walking towards, Neo started walking towards, and everything just went pause.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just become clear. And it was like all of a sudden he was just doing magic. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like the water started going away, the bullets started dropping.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel right now.
Are you on DMT? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
No,
I get you. I get what you're
I'm just
saying.
telling, I'm just telling you that
That's a good place to be where it's coming together.
it's clear. It's so clear. I've never had this much clarity in my life. Like I've been working so hard trying to make everyone else happy. And I think when you reach a certain level of success, all you want to do is give back. All you want to do is help others. All you want to do is give back. And I'm at that level where it's like I could go close every store that I have, every store that I'm affiliated with, and I can go back to one location and tint windows by myself, just me. And I can make a good living.
Sure.
And I could have no more headaches, no more stress, and no more worries. But the business would own me. I own my business. I'm flying to Boston next week to help some PPF guys that have joined forces with Sunstoppers, and we're going to be opening up our second Boston location because I'm coaching and training the tinters. But what gives me gratification is taking a guy who's never tinted windows before, and in a week, I've spent 8 to 8 training this guy how to tint windows. And then he calls me back in a week and he sends me text messages a week later. Man, I tinted this car and I did it and I got it. And it's so exciting to know you birthed a new window tinter.
Do you still do you run into any do you run into any like you've seen 20 plus businesses at this point probably round number kind of change shape in a way or like become a little more systematized, have that growth, have that relief from the owner that maybe is overwhelmed. Like you've seen it, certain things. You can say, I can guarantee you do X, Y, Z, and you're going to alleviate that problem. I've done it a million times. Do you still run into anybody who's like, yeah, Mike, I don't know. Like, do you see people who do people still like in any way like challenge that and you've just seen it so many times and then or like do you run into any instances where like you see people agree but it becomes like a diet where it's like I know what's good for me, but actually doing it is still just impossible.
Well, here's the thing. You can teach a running back to run downfield, but you can't teach him not to fumble. He's going to fumble the ball every once in a while. I fail. Every day I fail. But I fail this much. It's when you fail this much that it matters. So you basically have to take your business and go, you're going to fail a few times. You are. But it's how you pick yourself up and learn from that failure and you don't let it happen again. And in our business, what I hear over and over and over is I can't keep help. I can't motivate my help. I can't do everything. I'm answering the phones. I'm doing emails.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tinting the cars. I'm doing paint protection. My wife's mad because I can't come home till 9 o'clock tonight. I got to come in at 5 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and do the work. All I know is there's people working at Chick-fil-A. There's people working at Subway, and there's people cutting grass outside, mowing lawns in the heat, hot.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't make the kind of money that we make. We've got to find the workforce that appreciates what we do. And it's a constant battle. And I'll be honest with you, I learned a few things a week or two ago when I was in Boston. I was talking to some very successful guys that have partnered with me, and they gave me some very good advice. And I listened to them. And I gave them some very good advice of the problems and things that I've had in my business. But by working with other people who have similar problems, we come up with solutions together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a phone call for an hour the other night with a gentleman in Texas. Whether he does business with Sunstoppers or not doesn't matter. I made a new friend. I made a guy that he now trust that he can call, and he can share ideas with that have the same. Like I was that guy 20 years ago. I was that guy 15 years ago. I was walking in his shoes. We can talk tint, we can talk PPF, we can talk employees, we can talk customers, and we can share the things that worked for me and what didn't work for me. And he can only take the advice that I gave him and say, take it for what I gave you. This is what I did, and this is how I solved the solution to the problem. It may or may not work for you, but at least he got to hear it from someone that he respected. And that's what I need in this industry as well. I need people I can respect, and I need people I can bounce ideas off of. And, Jeff Phillips, Chris Hardy, the teams at Expel, these guys are amazing people, man. They're amazing. And they have a wealth of knowledge that these window tinting companies need to reach out to their reps. Because I can tell you right now, I have picked my reps' brains to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And I've bounced ideas off of them and said, what do you think? And they go, man, I don't know if I would do that or not. And then one, we like, hell yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And so I just look at it like this. We're all having the same problems. But the thing is, you know what happens when people get depressed? They need a therapist or they need medicine. Okay? They do, right? But you know what medicine most people need is just someone to talk to.
Sure, helps work through the problems. Just getting it out there sometimes helps bring light what a solution, let alone if you're speaking to somebody with experience.
Eric, you said in your interview before you're a very introverted guy. You don't reach out to people. You kind of sit behind the scenes. And, extroverted people sometimes hide behind talking too much. And one thing that I've learned over the years is that I talk a lot and that I need to listen more. And I'm trying. And I know my weaknesses. And it's funny because the Hendrick organization has a car dealership here in Charlotte. And the first thing that they do with their management team and their sales team is they go through a psychological, but I don't know if it's psychological. Sorry, more of a personality of who the person is. And they have like a red, a blue, a green, and it determines who you're talking to. So you kind of know the key words of what to do with that person. So if you're dealing with a certain person, you kind of know how to talk to that person.
Like a personality type.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important in life, that you have to read a customer, read your employees, because some of my employees are motivated by beer. Some of my employees are motivated by being able to go play golf, go fishing.
Sure.
And then some of my employees are motivated by money. All they want to do is make money. All they care about is making money. So what motivates one person may not motivate the other person, but you have to sit that person down and figure out psychologically what motivates that person. And that's half of our problem. We're so busy trying to answer the phones. We're so busy trying to do emails. We're so busy trying to put out good work that we forgot the personality of the people that worked in our company. Realistically, that's the problem. So if I know that my guy wants to get off at 4:00, I don't want to ask him to work till 7.
Right.
And it makes it a little difficult. So a lot of the advice that I give people is just psychologically evaluate the people that work for your company.
Yeah.
Just evaluate them. Just understand what makes them tick.
Right. And to do that, I feel like you especially need a few minutes. And I don't mean just a few minutes, like literally. I mean, but you can't be answering emails, answering the phone, talking to customers, running around 7 days a week. My head's going to explode. And now you want me to be patient with somebody I'm training, really understand them, like who's got the time. I don't think that most people, like some people have no clue how to hire. That's fine. Probably haven't hired before. No big deal. Everybody's new at something every time, like always. But I think a lot of times it's not even that they don't know how to do it. It's that they just don't even know how to stop for a minute to get that done,
Eric, it's called making an investment. Okay. You're going to make good investments and you're going to make bad investments.
Right.
But you constantly need to be investing if you want to get a return.
Sure.
And the problem is people get a bad investment and then they stop investing. The stock market goes down. All of a sudden they quit buying stocks, but then they realized all their friends kept buying stocks and then they made money. Well, the guys that kept hiring people and kept training people are the ones that are succeeding. You got to constantly be hiring. And what I learned from my friends,
that's right,
in Boston, was they call it the minor leagues and the major leagues. You always need to be training people in the minor leagues to one day when they get their call up to the major leagues.
Sure. Yep.
So when the major league player gets hurt, or what if one of your employees gets in a motorcycle wreck and he can't come back to work? You don't have anybody to call up to help.
Right.
So I'm looking at it like you're going to constantly need to be training people for the future. It's not that you want to get rid of your old veterans. That's not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what if one of your veterans has a back surgery and is out for 2 months? You've got to constantly prepare yourself for the what ifs. Why are you buying insurance for your car? The best insurance you've ever bought is the one you never had to call, right?
Right.
So it's just a lot of little things in this industry. But one thing I wanted to touch on earlier, getting off of sun stoppers and everything, is the artistic ability of a window tinter. When I first started tinting windows, we went down to Pep Boys or AutoZone and bought a roll of window tint. We bought a razor blade, and tried to squeegee and tint the window. And then over time, we became artists and we started drawing flames in the windows and started becoming creative. And we want to micro edge and we want to shave. But I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I want to bring this up to some of these old school window tinters. A seamless rear window, when you had to actually cut on the rear defogger line,
Mm-hmm.
pull the film, spray the water, and butt seam it on the rear defogger. That took a lot of talent back in the day. And these new tinters, this new generation, have plotters, they have computers, they have coaches, dry shrinking versus wet shrinking. And it's just unique on how this industry has evolved into an actual industry. It's amazing. The growth. I've never in a million years thought we would be tinting as many cars as we're doing today. I'm talking to all my friends across the country, and everyone is just busy, like busy. And what I'm trying to tell people that are in the industry, like in Florida, Colorado, California, they're just friends. Everybody, we're all kind of in a network. We're all friends. We bounce ideas. What I say is, it's not going to last. Everybody thinks it's going to last, but coronavirus is really our economy. It's hurt small businesses. It's hurt restaurants. It's hurt, sports. But so many people that I know are renovating their houses, doing new bathrooms, new kitchens, but then also they're spending money on their cars. Because you think about it, people aren't eating out as much. People aren't going to the movie theaters. They're not going to sporting events. So they're spending money on their cars and they're spending money on their houses. Well, when the world starts to become a little bit normal and they realize that the money is going to dry up, the strongest people in this industry are going to survive. Right now, it's just a free for all. We're all making money. Everybody's making money hand over fist.
Right.
But I just tell people to be cautious.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the real estate boom. You saw the .com boom. I don't know if everybody's old enough to understand when the technology companies went belly up. Everything goes up, everything goes down.
Yeah. And
But
yeah, it's a thing that, like, you're bringing up a very, very good point. And it's like, hey, when that happens, is the one man band really going to be affected? One man band, he'll just keep going. He can keep driving mobile, do his job. And then maybe a shop with a couple guys, not really, maybe a big deal. Maybe he loses business, maybe doesn't, whatever. But the people who are real screwed are the ones who are flying high. They have the big square footage. They have the big rent. They're used to the big volume because they have big bills, they have big payroll and so on. And once that starts to dry up, like you're saying, the domino, like the cards topple. And it's okay, we have to let somebody go. Then it's eventually we can't afford the rent. And before you know it, like, you're starting over in a very bad position. And you are one of the more not you, but that person's one of the more successful people over the last few years. And now they're in the worst position, basically.
When I give advice to people to expand, I say this: invest in your employees, invest in them. Okay. So if you have an ambitious guy that works in your company, because he wants to open up a store on his own, he wants to go out on his own, just back him, make him a strategic partner, open up a 1-bay, maybe 2-bay little shop and call it a boutique, and keep the rent low, keep it simple. and you can tint literally 2 or 3 cars a day and still make a profit and keep it simple. And then you can take all your employees that work for you and open up little small boutiques, $2,000 a month rent, power utilities, 2 bays, little nice counter, nice showroom, and just duplicate the model. Just keep duplicating it. You don't need one big 10,000 square foot building managing this big infrastructure. It's great. I'm envious sometimes. I wish I could close all my stores and have one. I really do.
Mm,
But the market share is what I try to tell people when I coach is market share. If you can go strategically pinpoint yourself around the city and you build a brand, you've got to constantly advertise, constantly put your name in front of people. I advertise 5 times more than any of my competitors in Charlotte, and I'm 5 times busier. But
sure.
the thing is, my brand, Sunstoppers, is branded. So when you think of window tinting in Charlotte, North Carolina, there's only one name people think about.
Right.
When you want a chicken sandwich, what comes to your brain?
Chick-fil-A. Sure, that's the advantage of having the multiple locations, having them in an area, and so on. And I wanted to, I was thinking before or earlier on this live stream, you were mentioning the people in Boston, and you were opening your second location. I was curious if it was the same owners, and if that okay. So is there, because like I wonder, is there a point, or have you run into where you say like, well, you know what, most of the time open in a second location, but in this case, you know what, you're better expanding in this dense area to a bigger square footage.
What happened was is for 12 years we've had a brand, Sunstoppers the brand in Boston. We have a company that does paint protection. They're highly paint protection, they're 90% paint protection. They sub out ceramic coatings and they sub out window tint. When the coronavirus hit, they shut down a lot of car dealerships, and they're real heavily into car dealerships. So they started realizing we need more of a retail presence. Well, the easiest way to get a retail customer is through window tint. You originate the window tinter, the
De-
window, I'm sorry, you
detailing,
originate, well, I'm
detailing.
sorry,
I feel like it's even easier than like if you're just looking for retail. I feel like detail is even easier than window tint because like who the
the
hell doesn't
the
get their car
labor
washed?
side, the labor side's hard on detail, man. It's
Mm,
buffing, creams, and it's hard to have the space because you're creating a lot
sure,
of dust.
I gotcha.
Uh, all I'm saying is that window tinting for $200 to $300 is an easy attraction to someone to come to your store. Okay. And when you get a guy that has a Mercedes and he comes in your store and all you do is mainly ceramic coatings, high end detailing, and paint protection, and you sub your window tinting out to an outside source, that customer, you reduce the population down to like 2% of your population's getting paint protection. Okay. 2% of the entire population of the United States gets paint protection. Two.
Mhm.
80% of the population gets window tint. So what happens is you take a paint protection customer that comes in the store and now you add on services. Well, you now can bring in a 2 or 3 year old Mercedes customer that's getting window tint for $200 or $300. Now you can sell him ceramic coating.
Sure.
Now you can say, hey man, you want your bumper paint protected. Now you have the access to now sell that customer multiple services. So a lot of people use window tinting as the leader to get the customer in the door, and then all of a sudden you sell everything else to them.
Sure. Of course, a $200 tint job can be a $6,000 PPF ceramic coating and tint job. Maybe
Right.
more. Really, it can be more.
Absolutely. And not only that, but that Mercedes customer owns a house. And
Hmm.
not only does he own a house, but all of a sudden he owns or he rents a commercial
Well,
building that his secretary.
His wife has a car too. First of all, so you're getting the wife's car, maybe the daughter or son's car, and the neighbor's car
Absolutely.
because the guy's going to be,
And Eric,
yeah.
Eric,
So
that it's a perfect point.
I got a question. I brings up a question. With the name Sunstoppers, like I feel like strategy wise, not to Sunstoppers point, but strategy wise, if your window like if I'm picking what's ideal, we're on a game of The Apprentice, and I have to come up with something. I'm going to go, all right. If I'm going to go tackle everybody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with one brand that's specialty to window tint, one brand that sounds like a clear bra paint protection specialist. I need another one that's a wrap specialist, and then when they come in for wraps, I can sell them the other. When they come in for clear bra, but as a name, like, if I'm Joe's window tinting, yes, I can sell ceramic coating and paint protection and wraps, but I don't think you'll ever, not you, but Joe would ever become super competitive at all of them, beyond word of mouth and so on. Because, somebody looking for wraps doesn't go to a window tint company, sort of, most people. What do you think about that as far as like how you see the future of Sunstoppers, other offerings than window tint and the name?
All right. Well, when we said chicken sandwich, what did you say?
Chick-fil-A.
Okay. When you think window tinting, what are you going to think about? Sunstoppers, right?
Maybe. I mean, yeah. Okay, let's say yes. Yes. The
Okay.
answer is
Okay.
yes. We're in
Let
Charlotte or whatever.
absolutely love you, love you, love you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
The answer is yes.
No, so the point of the matter is, guys that just have clear. My phone's ringing. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
All right. Sorry. So when you're called paint protection of so and so, or you're called something auto protectors, it really, your name, when I was doing marketing in college, there's three rules of advertising: who you are, what you do, and how to get a hold of you.
Right.
That's it. It's the three rules. When you can brand something, a brand, it's now a brand like Nike, like Chick-fil-A, like Reebok, Under Armour. I had a conversation with one of the tent shops. He was predominantly a paint protection shop, and they're a ceramic pro shop. But their name sounded weird because it had the owner's name in it. And it's the owner auto spa. Okay. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and I said, "Do you offer window tinting?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do you do residential commercial window tinting?" "Yeah, occasionally." "Not really. Maybe."
Not going to be very much out of an auto spa, that's for sure.
"Okay."
Right.
Point taken, Eric. So now we have a guy that has paint protection and auto spa in his name. Well, right now, if you asked every major window tinting company out there across the country, from California to Florida to Texas, Window Film Depot, some of the bigger guys, the big boys, where do they make most of their money? Commercial window tinting.
Okay. Yep.
It's 4 times more profitable than cars, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that really varies. So, like, I don't know how to get like a number on it. But yeah, I could see it being because, but you have the things that come with commercial, like your profit margins go down, but your volume could go up, but so I don't know. I feel like if
I
you
just look
really,
at it.
yeah, go ahead.
I, l- I look at it when you can buy something for $1 a square foot and sell it for $8 a square foot. You're making 7 times the product cost.
Isn't it similar with like auto though?
It is, but the auto requires rent, power, utilities, overhead,
Well, that was my next
plotters.
question. Was Sunstoppers mobile? Is there any plans to have a straight
We
mobile
have it.
division?
We already have it.
Okay. But like,
I
are
have
there
I have
locations that only do mobile?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, but the thing is they mainly focus on residential commercial. See, we do roller shades, we do blinds, we do window tinting.
Right.
So when you are approaching a house or a commercial building, our name says what we do,
Yes.
Sunstoppers. Okay.
Very clearly.
So I look at it like this: auto is my passion. Auto is what I started doing in high school. I'm an artist. I love airbrushing. I used to barber in college. I was a barber. I used to cut hair. Okay. I really love working with my hands. I love the gratification of doing something and seeing the results of what I did. I love it. I actually love hand cutting. I love tinting Corvettes, older ones that have big arch back windows. When a car comes in that is the hardest car in the world to tint, I can't wait to tint it. I get excited. Like, I can't wait. Like, I want to go to work and like
Yeah.
conquer it. I want to kick. When I go tint a Model X windshield, I'm like, when I go tint a 944 Porsche back window in one piece, and I'm like,
Have you done a Model X by yourself windshield by any chance?
yes,
Whole
sir.
Model X by yourself around the mirror, the whole shebang.
Yeah. Yes.
What a
Yes.
huge pain in the ass that is.
If you go to my YouTube channel, to Sunstoppers on YouTube, you can watch me actually do one.
All right. I got a plan for the evening after this.
Listen, it's not that hard. There's a guys that I
It's
really
just a big
thought
piece
about
of
creating.
film. You could cut it down the middle. You could, it's just a big piece of film.
The problem with doing that is putting it in. You really almost need a second set of hands
Right.
to actually help divide it. And I've created a couple of different ways. You can use a tube and back roll it. I've tried that way where you can actually take like a PVC pipe and roll the film up on a PVC pipe and unroll it, which is actually pretty cool. Or what I've found is you lightly fold it together, have the earmarks, and then you basically put it in and then slowly unfold the film, almost like a piece of pie where you unfold it. And then you just kind of unfold the piece. But what thing is, you start over here in the bottom, you start over here, and just kind of unroll it. And the thing is, it comes down to trial and error. It
Mhm.
comes down to do it a couple of times until you figure out what works. But you got to get excited. So when a challenge like that comes into your store, I'm not a production tinter anymore. I don't have to come in the store and tint 10 cars a day. So if we're tinting 10 cars a day in the shop, my guys don't want to do a Model X. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make mathematical sense for them to stop what they're doing. They could tint 2 cars in the time it takes to do that car. You got to shrink it, cut it, sit on the windshield, cut it out, put the rear defogger. So what I do is I cut the middle slit. I just slit it, put the earbuds in, and then I trim the inside from the inside so there's no light gaps. But I'm an artist and I love the challenge. Like, I can't wait to do it. Like, when the hardest cars in the world want to be tinted, I can't wait to go do it. I want to do it. And because I've been tinting windows since 1988 and I love challenging myself.
So when you said it doesn't make mathematical sense for your employees to do it because they could do 2 cars in the time that they do that one windshield, is that because of the way they're paid slash incentivized, or is it from a business owner's point of view? You're saying it's not worth their time, or
All right. Here's the thing, Eric. If you got a 944 Porsche, arch back window, or you've got a, say, a Model X windshield, okay? The average tinner, and I'm saying average, I'm only saying this to be average. There's exceptional tinners that can do exceptional things. I've seen tinners out there that can do things that I'm still blown away with what they can do, okay? But they're not normal. It's almost like having super athletes that can run, the football at 3 seconds. There's exceptional athletes in every sport. There's exceptional tinners in everything that we do. I'm not taking anything away from those guys, but I'm saying my average window tinner, by the time he has to prep the window, clean it, shrink the windshield, cut it out, hand cut, because you can get a computer cut, but most people don't have 60-inch plotters to computer cut. And when you go to put it in, the likelihood of having a flaw, a little baby crease, a little hair, something to be an imperfection.
after all that work.
All that work. So what I'm saying is the anxiety that it creates to the tinner, it doesn't make mathematical sense to crap out your tinner for the day. He has to rip it off, redo it because there's a freaking problem in it, or he overshrunk a portion and has a little crease in it. It's a big, expensive piece of film because most people want a ceramic tint. And so you're going to have, a lot of money in the cost of the material just to do it, the time it takes to do it. But then your tinner is going to get pissed off. Not only is he going to get mad, he's going to throw a spray bottle. He's going to, he's going to be like, screw this. I don't want to do this car, blah, blah, blah. So I try to take it upon myself as the owner of the company to come in and do those cars for my guys. And I have them assist me with trying to put the windshield tint in. I'm like, hey, help me put this in. And then when they see me do it
Sure.
and I'm smiling and I'm laughing
Yeah.
and I'm enjoying myself, listening to Motley Crue or, listen to Metallica, and I'm over here going, I just kicked this Model X butt, blah, blah, blah. They look at it like the next time a Model X comes in, they're not going to be
Yep.
so like,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it. Maybe it might didn't seem like it was that bad.
Yeah. I think
And so
I
you
mean,
got,
that's a really great way of leadership. That's just to the point of that's the way, that's one of the best ways to lead is by example. You're setting the tone of how they should act and so on. It's the same reason why one of the worst things I think you can do ever is like badmouth a customer behind their back. Because like you get a shitty customer, whatever it is, like you know the reality of it. But if you turn to your employee and you're like, man, what a pain in the ass, so and so, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what you're doing? You're setting the tone for them to go, this guy's a pain in the ass, that lady's a pain in the ass, and so on. If all you do is ever love everybody and it's like, well, that was a challenge that that was a good time or whatever, like, well, that is a good time. It becomes a good time.
make it a party. And the thing is, when you have a bad customer that's super picky,
You
I was
better
coaching a
embrace it.
guy. I know you know this guy, and he's down in Florida, and he's a good guy, and you know who he is. I'm not going to mention his name, but I was giving him some advice the other night. We were talking, and he actually said he talked to you the other night. And I'm not mentioning names because I'm not here to name names. But here's the thing:
Hmm.
I told a guy this. He said, "Man, what do you do when you have that picky customer?" And I said, "The very first thing you is when that customer comes in to pick up their car, oh my God, your car came out amazing. It looked awesome. Let's go outside and look at it before they even pay.
Mm-hmm.
Before they even pay, you get them excited.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Let me see your phone, ma'am. Let me see your phone. What do you? I got to get a picture of you next to your car. I do. I have to get a picture
Yeah.
of you next to your car. Go over there next to your car. I've got to take a picture. This car right now, I tinted 5 cars today. Yours came out the best. I don't know why, but the heavens opened up and your car just came out phenomenal. And I'm going to take a picture of you in front of your car, and I want you to go post it onto your Facebook or your Instagram, and I want you to tag me and tell everybody your car came out amazing. Come back inside. Let's go ahead and fill out your ticket. Take a picture. Click, click. Come back in. They fill out their invoice. They go back in their car. They don't look at the windows at all. Zero. They get in their car and they go, "Oh, that car looks amazing. I got window tint."
Yeah.
It's how you create the experience.
Yeah.
It's how you create the experience.
Yeah. You're setting the tone, you're setting the
And
frame, you're shifting their mind in a direction. You leave them alone, like you said, you charge them, they go out, they're going to look, and you know what they're going to do. They're going to come back in and say, hey, I got a problem.
well, I was teaching some guys in Boston about 2 weeks ago how to tint windows. They never tint windows before, and the guys that do paint protection don't really understand window tint. Okay, so the two owners, they come in to me and they're looking at the one guy actually looks at me and he goes, "What about this and what about that?" And I go, "Well, with paint protection, you have a little window of where you can pull the film back, spray it, and kind of pick out the film. You can't do that really with tint. You can, but not really.
Right.
Like a back window where you have a hair, it's still wet, and you can kind of, oh, I saw it, and you pull it out a little bit. You have like a little small window where you can kind of maybe get it out.
Mm.
Okay. Paint protection, you can lift back and forth, wet, 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 do whatever you want." And I said, "Guys, it's a TV screen." And he goes, "What do you mean a TV screen?" And I said, "Take your thumb and go around the outside edge of the bottom and the sides around the car. Just take your thumb and take around the gasket, take around the bottom, and take around the inside, and take around the top." He goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, that's the TV picture. That's the picture you look through." And I said, if there's no imperfections or no lint or dust with a visible look through, then it's acceptable window. And they never even thought about that. But I had to set the tone to two guys that are very picky about paint protection of what's acceptable with window tint and what's not. And so I'm trying to let people know that everybody that tints windows has a little crease here, has a little speck here, has a little lint here. And it's how you prep them. You tape this and you singe this and you do this, or you pull the gaskets or you pull the door panel. There's all different bottom load, top load. There's all different ways. So I teach them every way. But every car has to talk to you. Every car has to talk to you. How am I going to approach this car? And what's going to be acceptable? Because you can go back crazy and tint a car 30 times, and that piece of spec goes from here to there, and it goes there. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. So you still tint, do you only tint cars like you mentioned before? Like, somebody comes in and you're like, hey, I'm going to help my team out. Or like, are you somewhat on the schedule or on the staff? How do you manage that?
Well, it really just depends on, like, a lot of guys that call me and ask me for advice, and they say, "What should I do?" And my wife, my kids, my life, me personally. Let me ask you this, Eric. You have kids?
Not yet.
Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. If your wife was in a car wreck and you were at work holding a piece of tent and you found out she was in a wreck, what would you do?
Drop the tint and probably head that way.
My man. Correct. That was the right answer. So you basically are telling me this. You make time for what you think is important, correct?
Of course.
If I think it's important, I'm going to make time for it.
Of course.
If I think it's important for me to go to one of my stores and tint windows because I have 15 cars on the schedule for today, then I'm going to go there and give them some help. So my job is not only to put the food on the table, but it's also to fillet it, and it's also to clean it and cook it. And it's a fine balance. I had back surgery about a year and a half ago, and I have zero feeling in my left foot. So I walk really crooked and kind of limp all day long. So I'm very, aware of my body, but my mind's telling me to go from 8 in the morning to 8 at night as hard as I can go. And I will outwork anyone in the country. I will outwork you. I may not be the smartest guy in the world, but I can tell you this: 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I told myself I will outwork the smartest people to become successful. I will.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guys that want to work, there's enough work out there. You just have to hustle for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, man, I really enjoy tinting. I love it. I love it with a passion. And the thing that people don't understand is I told my son years ago when he was very little, he asked me, he said, Dad, I want to make a lot of money. And I said, okay, cool, son. Love you. Want you to make a lot of money too. He was little and he was talking about a job and what he was going to do in life. And I said, son, you want to know how you become rich? And he said, yeah, Dad, tell me how you become rich. And I said, well, when you wake up in the morning and you love what you do, and you wake up in the morning and you would go do what you do for free, you would actually do it for free just because you love doing it so much. And not only would you do it for free, but you're one of the best in the world at doing it. And then people will come from hours and hours away to just only have you do it because they trust you. And then you can name your price. And that's what I told my son. It doesn't matter what you do for a living.
Right.
As long as you would get up in the morning and do it the best of your ability because you love doing it, and you would free if someone asked you to do it. Have you ever tinted a car for free?
No. Me?
Yeah.
I've never tinted a car.
You have not tinted a car.
I mean, I had. Well, I tried to tint my own car years and years and years ago before this, but that doesn't count because I wasn't successful. But no, I never. I jumped in the business from the like having labor and needing to do everything else, and then growing the labor and so on. But like I was always on the other side of it. I don't I don't have that patience that you were describing earlier, that passionate patience. I mean, I do with basic woodworking and things like that, but in general, I'm more of a, like, I don't know,
Eric, where do you live? Where
Palm
do you live?
Springs, Palm Springs, California.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Tell me.
If I come to you,
The answer is
if I come
yes.
to you,
For sure. I would gladly learn or do it, and we can make a video out of it. It would be a lot of fun. And
can we tend a car together?
yeah, we could definitely tint a car.
I'm coming.
I'm down. And
Okay.
if not, it'll
Me
be
and
at the,
you.
we could do it at the window film convention if you don't come out here before then, or I'll come to you and do it at Sunstoppers. I'm down.
I would love to educate you on tinting a car, and me and you do one together.
Okay. I,
You down?
I'm down. I'm down.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
I might already
Love it.
know
I
how to
think that'd
tint
be
a
so much
car.
fun.
I feel like I might already know how to do it. But I'm just saying, because like I've done plenty of graphics installations and flat glass and so on. So I feel like I got the whole, I'll wear a glove. It'll be smooth. I'll use a dry
No
shin tap.
gloves. No gloves. No gloves.
Okay, no gloves. Okay. Dean said he's in, and I'm down. I feel like it should be at Sunstoppers, though, because I'll be hosting you in my driveway if you come to Palm Springs.
Well, I don't know. I think you're doing a great job. I really appreciate everything you're doing for the industry, and bringing people together is a wonderful thing, especially during this coronavirus and all the. I just really feel for the restaurant workers. I really feel for the sports teams. I really, my heart goes out to those people because we're fortunate. We're very, very fortunate to be working, making money, and providing for our families now when a lot of people in America are not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to not like, I mean, it's one of those things where I couldn't, you can't even really imagine it. I can empathize, but I can't necessarily imagine what it'd be like to be told I can't work or I can work at a limited capacity for the last
Yeah,
3 or 4 months with no necessary end in sight. That is devastating. Like
it is.
devastating, especially
Yeah.
like, look, it's devastating if you have bills. It's devastating if you have a job. It's for sure devastating with a family. But as an entrepreneur that loves business, I feel like you're compounding all those other things on top of this is what you love. What do you mean?
I just, you know, I had some very wealthy friends of mine the other day, and some of them are very arrogant people, and a lot of them that I come in contact with are bringing me new cars, new Porsches that they've ordered, and these people are not the same people, man. The world is changing, and people of wealth are starting to become humbled. They really are because there's nowhere to go show your wealth. There's nowhere to go buy a box seat at the Panthers or the stadium. There's nowhere to go to a basketball
What do you
game
mean,
and sit at the.
Instagram?
Yeah, I get it, man. I
No,
get it. But
no, I know.
you
But you
know,
said there's nowhere to show your wealth. I know what you're saying. I agree with you in the sense that I feel like social media, for all that it's done negatively, has done tons and tons positively, and some of that is it's connecting people. You realize
it is.
you're all people. You're just people. You have different cars,
Yeah,
and you live in different streets,
yeah,
and so you're all
yeah,
people. It's all people. And before you'd hang out at your country club, you wouldn't even see those other people. Now we all meet on social media, and
yeah. I had a couple of my guys that work in my company. They came over this afternoon before we had this meeting, and we were sitting on the back porch, and we just had a toast of tequila, and they live close by, and one guy that used to work for my company left, and now he came back, and he was at the house, and I just really consider a lot of these people that work in this company, they become family. They really do. They become a real big part of my life, and I invest a lot of time and effort into these people, and they invest time into me and the company. And when they leave, it's like you lost a part of you. You know what I mean? And I've had some good guys been with me for a very, very a long time. And we started in this business together, and then they grow and they leave, and it's like a bad divorce. You have built up feelings, and then you're sick to your stomach, and then you're just like. Then when they come back and they come back in your life, you're just like, oh my God, it's like an old high school friend that you see for the first time again, and you hug and you catch up, and you don't even remember why you're mad at each other. it's like
Mhm.
it's like nothing ever left. You know what I mean? And but it's the tinting business that brought us together. And I've met some really good people in this industry, man, that I really consider family, and it's an amazing industry. It really is.
Yeah, well said. It really, really is. It's I'm curious sometimes. Like I see, obviously we all interact on Facebook for the most part, and we know that whole group. But which is good. I'm not saying that whole group in a bad way. It's a great group. It's the best group. It's you. It's me. It's everybody that we know. But in my head, I also wonder, I'm like, how many thousands of tinters are there that are not in this group that we don't hear from? You don't see the name, like a face or a name. Maybe they're lurkers, but maybe they're not even on Facebook. They don't even think about Facebook for window tint. And like, how many of those people? And when those people do get into this group somehow and that group becomes bigger, how beautiful that could be, and like how many other people there are to meet, and how much, you know, how that looks, because it's hard to say, like, is the are the posts you see, everything, is that 30% of the industry, is that 10%, is that 70%, you know?
You don't have the math on that? I thought you were a smart guy. What's up?
You know, I think has the math. I feel like Eastman has the best math, because to have the math on it, you basically had to have every single person be a dealer of yours at one point, and then you'll know how many people there are in existence. And I feel like everybody's been a Luma or a Suntech dealer at some point in their life, or an Eastman brand, because they have so many brands.
Yeah.
But
And that hurt my feelings back in the day, man. Because when the guys started Suntech, I was one of the first people to jump on board with Suntech. And when they sold out to Eastman, man, I felt like just I got hurt, man. Because it
yeah,
used to be Lumar against Suntech, and it was like a rivalry, and it was the war. And
so
is that what's going to go on in the industry? We're all just going to buy film for one company, down the road. Is there just going to be one down the road?
so no, I think no matter what, the answer is no, because no matter what you do to consolidate the industry, consolidation then sparks offshoots. And, it's like a pendulum. So it goes in one direction, it's got to go in the other. So, like, I think there's always room for like niche window film suppliers and personalization and so on. So no, I don't think it'll all be one, no matter how hard anybody tries. But my question to you is, how would you feel if Eastman bought Expel? Maybe you don't need to answer that, but
I, don't-
that's what my mind went to when you
Eric,
said.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, man. That is something I'm not going to answer.
That's fair enough. That's enough of
But
an
but
answer.
no, I will tell you this.
Huh.
If Eastman bought Expel, I would private label my own film.
That would be the, like, cliff. They're like, all
Sunstoppers,
right,
like
we're
Tint
done.
World.
We're done.
I'm now Sunstoppers film. I'm now Sunstoppers. We're now branding our own product. We're gonna buy and label it ourselves.
Fair enough. Fair.
I'll just talk to Eastman. I want black boxes with yellow writing that say Sunstoppers. Thank you. I want this kind of film.
Um,
I'll make my own display boards. I'll do my own marketing.
yeah. Look, it's a lot to handle, but it's never a bad idea to go that route. I feel like, because for the most part, if you're offering a quality film, the consumer, if you're good at branding, you can brand your own film the same way you brand your own business. Period.
I told Jeff Phillips one day, and I told a couple other guys from Expel. Expel is a great company, and they actually helped my company become more successful. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was so branded with Suntech. And the Suntech guys, the rep over there, he and I became really good friends. I loved all the people there. I love the country. I'm a country boy at heart. So when I hear all those country voices, when I call up at Eastman, up in Martinsville, Virginia, I miss them. And they're great people, man. They really are. They're awesome. And there's technical support. They would do anything in the world for me. And to switch brands, it was very difficult for me, man. It was a hard time. It was like giving up something that I knew was true, it was proven, it was great, but it was all based on cost. And they sold the same window film to a stereo shop that had no air conditioning or banner down the road, and it just didn't give me any separation. And I didn't realize it as much at the time, but when I realized what Expel brought to the table, um, was just a cleaner look. It was just a cleaner, more professional look. The boxes look cleaner, and
Hmm.
they were just getting into the window tinting game. Like they joined forces with Expel. They had just gotten into the window tinting game, man, and they wanted me bad. And it never was about price. It came down to the fact that Chris Hardy won me over as a person, and I loved my sales rep so much that I believed in him because I thought he was going to do more for me than they were.
Right. Because
And so it
right.
came, it, at the end of the day, it came down to him.
Yeah. Because when price is the only
And,
thing that's there, then it's price. But there's more to price, like you said. There's so much more than price.
people always say, why Sunstoppers? Why do I want to join Sunstoppers? And the very first answer I tell them is you're partnering with Mike Burke. 30 years of mistakes and 30 years of problems and 30 years of window tinting. I tell people all the time, I'm not the best window tinter in the world, but it'll take the best window tinter in the world to beat me. And that's not arrogance. That's not cockiness. I just know when I walk into a room with the best talented people in the world, I belong.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's I just it's not an arrogance. People think of me as arrogant, they think of me as cocky, they think of me as this big bully, and that's farthest from the truth.
If like, look, if you say, hey, look, Sunstoppers is the best brand out there for window film. It's the strongest brand. It's the best brand to be a part of, and so on. Anybody who disagrees can go build their own. You can go help more people than you have.
Go
You
build
could
it.
go build your own, and then come back and go, hey, Mike Burke, look what I did. And most likely at that point, if anything, if I can imagine, you're going to go, nice job, man. Let's talk about it.
Good
You know
job.
what I mean?
Good job.
Like,
Great. Yeah.
that's it. Like, so, there's no,
Anyone that but
there's,
anyone that
yeah,
creates anything took a lot of hard work to do it. And it took a lot of sacrifice to do it. And I sacrificed my body. And I can't walk very good. I can't. But I've told many people that I would give every dollar I've ever made in my life back to be able to run again.
I believe that 1,000%. As somebody with a bad knee, I know money does not make a difference when your body gives out. Money makes no difference. Nothing.
None. No.
Yeah.
So the thing is, all I have to really do is to get myself a self-worth. Like when I wake up in the morning, I have to be motivated. Okay. And people ask me, what motivates me? And Eric, the more responsibilities that I have on my shoulders, the more I don't want to let people down.
Right. Yeah. I think
That's the key.
that's a, look, I think it's something I share with you, and a lot of people do, and it's one of those things where, like, that's why, like, responsibility. Some people will thrive with responsibility and be no good if you take that responsibility. They need more, and some people not. And but that's one of those things. Almost back to, like you said, how do you like what is somebody coming to work for? Sometimes it's just a feeling of importance and responsibility and so on, and enabling that's a win-win for everybody.
You know, when I was in college, I took 1 hours. I don't know if you know how many hours that is in college, but it's a lot.
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know. It's hard. It's a blur for me too. But all I know is that the last 3 semesters, I took 20 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
Which means I took a lot of classes and I went to class a lot. But you know what happened? I succeeded and did better because there was more on my plate. Well, there was a semester and I kind of goofed off and took 12 hours. My grades were horrible. It's because I had way more time to screw around.
Right. Yeah.
So all I try to tell people is the more successful you are is the more things that are on your plate. Okay. When you don't have a lot on your plate, you forget about the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Completely. Completely. Like it's one of those things. Almost like I remember the busier days that I had in my life. We all go through different periods where it's like busier or less busier. They're doing different things. But I remember when I was most consistent going to the gym, I was working the most hours and most busy. But it was part of that
Yeah.
routine that you fit in. The days you don't
Routine.
have much to
Yep.
do or you're less busy, somehow there's no time to do anything.
Yeah. I get
That's the
it.
thing.
Where do you see the window tinting industry in 10 years?
So I mean, there's so many things to talk about, but I feel like, it's going to be, look, online presence is obviously important. The quality is obviously going there. I feel like, I don't know if consumers are going to ever appreciate hand cutting like you would a craft beer, but I do think that people's expectations are being raised. They're looking for professional services. They're not going to want to call and talk to somebody who sounds like they're giving them 10% of their attention and want them off the phone while they're tinting a window. That no longer is going to fly. I think a lot of the people who say, I don't need advertising and marketing. I've been in business for blah, blah, blah. Those people either be retired or their businesses are going to suck. Most likely, I don't think that shit flies anymore. I think it becomes more consolidated, professional, and so on. And to that point, though, still, like to what you said earlier, we are going to hit we probably will hit some sort of recession, and that's going to be like a wave that comes and washes out the people at the beach. Some people will still be there, but a lot of shit's going to just be washed out. It just is what it is, you know? Is that kind of where you were going with that question? Oh, let me throw one
Yeah.
more. One more. I'm sorry, one more. From a manufacturer point of view, I wanted to point out there was a post from Mitch Goldman that I think it's at a shop he's working at, and he really jabbed it to Lumar. He posted a picture of the oldest Lumar banner left in existence hanging on the shop, and he was like, this is my problem with Lumar. Like, why is this banner here? Blah blah blah. And then his rep actually came in there and was like, hey, I've dropped off new banners at the shop, and nobody put them up. Like, or I've sent them. If you need more banners, just say the word. But I've tried. Now, to answer your question as to where the industry's going, I think the manufacturers that are going to want to succeed are going to go, it's no longer, I'm no longer going to just mail you a banner. I'm going to send somebody there to drill it to the side of your building, and while I'm there, I'll have them paint a fresh coat of paint on your garage for you. Anything else I can do for you. I think manufacturers will have to take it that step further, because somebody out there is going to want to do it. And once that's out there, everybody else can either follow suit with upping their level, or not. So anyway, done.
All I can tell you is, man, you hit the nail on the head, Eric. You're actually a genius. the the thing is,
I
this
think
pizza
about this
shop
stuff 7 days
about
a week, so 24 hours a day. I think about the window film industry, so it's a question that I'm ready for. Like,
all right. Well, there's a pizza shop about maybe 3 or 4 miles downtown. It's called Big Guys Pizza. New Yorkers, really cool guys. They have like this pizza guy spinning a pizza, and his shop on the outside looked like garbage. Like the graphics looked like they were etching and looked terrible, right? So I buy pizza there a lot on Friday nights. We either do fish Friday night or we do pizza Friday night for my family. Those are our Friday night. We eat out. I cook steaks on Sunday. We have our little routines of what we do. Well, I asked the guy, I said, man, you need me to redo your graphics? Because I have printer guys, friends of mine that'll print graphics, and I'll install them for them. I said, man, let me hook you up and do some graphics. He goes, no, 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 no. I'm not paying for graphics. And I go, okay, cool. What's up, man? He goes, listen, we've been with Pepsi for 15 years or whatever it is, right? 6 years or whatever he said. I can't remember. It was years and years and years I've been with Pepsi. And I said, awesome, man, great. We just switched to Coca-Cola. And I said, okay, cool. He said, that Coke grip is putting me all new graphics across my windows, and they're going to say Coke and Pepsi and all this, or I'm sorry, Coke and all this little red stuff all over the things. And he said, they're paying for that.
yeah.
And I just laughed, and I was like, man, if I could just get my guys my reps to come in and pay for graphics all over the front of my buildings, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you just hit the nail on the head. I just think in the future, it's what the manufacturer and the reps and the company and the branding, how do
Yep.
we separate ourselves from everybody else?
Yep. Yeah. Look, if I'm a rep and I work for XYZ window film company and I'm going, okay, how do I get this company to sell my film? How do I get this company to be loyal, continue to sell my film? And how do I get them to do a better job selling it so that they buy more of it? Well, it all comes down to affecting how does their store look? How's their marketing? How's their online branding? And like, if you're not willing to touch any of that, then your hands are tied and you become a salesperson. But the other way, you become a partner in their business, a partner in success. And you're obviously doing that, with Sunstoppers and building partnerships in success.
Yep.
And, I'm glad you're doing it because I know manufacturers do it to different extent. Everybody does something. I'm just kind of push saying it should be much more. But what you're doing is, hey, if you're not going to do it, manufacturers, we'll get together as a tint company and we're going to do it, and it works.
Eric, do you know the very first thing that I do when you sign up with Sunstoppers? I'm taking existing window tinting shops that have been tinting windows for years, have their own brand. And do you know what they're doing?
Hmm.
They're changing their name. And you know, the first thing that I do is I mail them invoices, I mail them business cards, and
Hmm.
I mail them T-shirts, and I mail them pins, and I mail them envelopes, and I mail them graphics. And they redo their entire showroom and their front with our graphics. And do you know who pays for that?
Sunstoppers. Right. And you know who
Sunstoppers.
can afford to pay for it? Like, not, I don't mean like you can, like that. What I mean by that is that design that costs XYZ amount of money and labor and so on can be shared. That cost can be shared amongst a group, which makes marketing and creation of all this much more affordable.
Well, all I know is when things slow back down and things are not as busy as they are right now, the ones that advertise, like you said, are going to be the ones that thrive. Okay.
100%.
But if you just think you've been in business for years and my work speaks for itself and
Yep.
my customers love me and I'm only going to, no, they don't. No, they don't. Because here's the thing. I had a guy that I've been doing business with for years, a friend, somebody I've had coffee with, somebody I've been to breakfast with, right? Calls me up, tries to get paint protection done on his brand new $100,000 whatever. And I told him, man, I said, man, we can't get you in this week, right? And we just did a car for him like 3 weeks earlier, another Porsche that he ordered or whatever. And now he's got a new SUV he wanted done. And we couldn't get him in. So guess what he did? He went somewhere else.
Sure.
And he looked at me on the, he called me on, and I'm sorry, he looked at me, but he called me on the phone and I said, what's up, man? I said, why'd you go somewhere else? He said, well, I bought a new car and I wanted to drive it and I needed it done. And this guy was hungry enough for my business. I went here.
Hmm.
And he goes, no disrespect to you, Mike. We're still friends. So should I take that personally that it was a knife in my back that he didn't wait around for me?
No, of course. Of course. And that's,
He
how many times you hear somebody bragging that they're like 2 months booked out or a month booked out? Well, all that means is you're not doing a good job turning around service for your customers, because that's not a reasonable. Like, if I'm going to go to the movies, which I never do, but I'm not going to want to buy a movie ticket 3 months in advance. If you tell me you're booked out 3 months for the movies, I'm going to go, that's awesome for you. Thank you. Keep your movies. So like, I don't want to wait a
I
month to
agree.
get my car tinted either. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait at
Yeah.
all for anything anymore. Like, I'm just saying, I don't think anybody does.
There's a guy there's a guy that joined forces with us that's joining with us in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You know what I told him?
Hmm.
He was calling me. He goes, man, I'm having all these people and appointments. He goes, what do I do? And I go, well, you tell people it's first in, first out. He goes, what do you mean? I said, it's first in, first out. All appointments are dropped off at 9 o'clock. I'll call you when your car's done. He goes, so you don't make appointments? I said, no, I don't make appointments. He goes, you don't make appointments? I said, no, I don't make appointments. I said, right now the volume is so high,
Hmm.
the call volume is so high that it's first in, first out. It's like a barbershop. Cars are dropped off at 9 o'clock. If your car is not dropped off before 10, you ain't guaranteed to be done the same day.
Hmm.
So you have a little window of all these cars, like 8, 9 cars being dropped off at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, guess what? They're all walking in the showroom. So guess what? You only got to do your sales pitch once. So
Right.
they're all in the showroom. You got 5 people in there dropping their cars off. Well, guess
Right.
what? The guy wants to get his windshield tinted. One guy getting XR plus, big film, $500 tint job. And that guy turns around and tells the other guy, well, why are you being cheap, man? You need to go ahead and get the good film. So guess what? I don't even
Sure.
need to sell the tint jobs anymore because the guy that came in sold the other two XR plus jobs for
Sure.
me.
And one of your 6 customers that are in there at one time might go, I've had 3 of my other cars tinted with Mike, and this guy knows what he's doing. And then
Perfect.
everybody's
You
just
hit the
like,
nail on the head.
right. Yeah.
So you know what? When you go to a car dealership and you drop your car off to get diagnosed and serviced, do you wait for your car or do you drop it off and say, just, call me when you find out what's wrong with it, right?
Definitely drop it off. Yeah.
You know what the problem with today's society is? Everybody wants to wait. They think we're a drive-through. Everything's a drive. I want my chicken nuggets right now. I waited 3 minutes. I want my chicken nuggets right now. Starbucks, you got 5 people in line. You know what they do? They drive down the road 2 miles and go to the other Starbucks to see if there's a line smaller.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm just
yeah.
saying that this
I
is the
know.
world that we live in today. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's addicting. You can get everything
All
right
right,
now,
I'm gonna
on your
leave you
phone.
with it.
Huh?
I'm gonna leave you with this one, man. This one's gonna be a joke and it's kind of funny, but it's got some truth to it.
Okay.
And I need to go eat dinner because I'm starving.
Okay.
Well, all I'm gonna tell you is this. I had a customer call today, and I like to have fun with my customers. When they call on the phone, I like to cut up with them. I like to tell them jokes. When a guy calls me and he goes, "Hey man, I got a '96 Honda Accord." I want, man, I love that car. You love the '96? Yeah, man, I had one of those cars when I was in high school. I mean, when I got out of college or whatever, I had that car. I love that car, man. I had a silver one. I had tan interior. Don't tell me it's got a spoiler on it. Oh, it's got a spoiler. Oh man, that's a cool car. So you find some kind of
Yeah.
common ground where you get the guy joking and having fun with the car, and then you get a guy that calls you, got a Dodge Challenger or a Charger, and he's come up. He's like, "Man, I'm off work today, man. I want my windows tinted today, man. Please, you get me in. I need to get my windows tinted." And I said, "Sir, I've got 9 cars sitting here right now. 9. They're all dropped off. This guy's called me at like 1 o'clock, right?" And he says, "Man, I'm only off work today. I want to get my windows tinted." I said, "Man, I'm gonna tell you a story." The customer goes, "What kind of story you tell me?" And I said, "Listen, when I was in the bar business, when I was in the restaurant, bar, nightclub business." I said, "Sir, have you ever been to a nightclub?" He goes, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Well, you ever been to a nightclub where there's a line wrapped around the building to get in at 11 o'clock at night? There's like 100 people in line, right?" Eric, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I said, "But
It
you
happens at the
see those
supermarket right
people."
now. Just saying, it happens at the supermarket right now, Trader Joe's or whatever. There's a line around the building.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So you've got this guy going to a nightclub, and these two guys are walking in, and they go to the bouncers right there at the front door. And for some reason, they open up and get in, right? Well, they don't realize they shook hands with the bouncer and had $100 bill right here in their palm and handed a $100 bill to the bouncer, and they opened the rope and they got in, right? And I told the guy, I said, "Man," I said, my front counter girl really loves vodka. She likes Grey Goose." And I said, "Man," I said, "if you go in there with a bottle of Grey Goose and put that down on the front counter and say, 'Ma'am, I talked to a guy on the phone that said you really like Grey Goose, and he said that you might be able to get my windows tinted today if I gave you this bottle of Grey Goose.'"
I had a
Hey,
history
you know
teacher like
what?
that. Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Huh.
We got his windows tinted that day. So all I'm saying is, with supply and demand, have fun with your customers.
Sure.
And the thing is, when I had a guy pick me up, he had a Porsche, and it was in Lake Norman at my store in Lake Norman, and it was right after one guy in that store for many years. He was a great guy, great relationship with that guy. He did an awesome job, but he left me in a hard spot. I was doing paint protection. He was doing a lot of paint protection up there, and I had to go up there and do a car. Well, this guy dropped off a Porsche, and he had this old paint protection on there. And if you know exactly what I'm talking about, has old paint protection. It's kind of a pain in the ass, right?
The worst.
So I'm over there steaming this stuff off. I'm flaking it off. I'm trying to get it off, right? And he thought that he was going to get new paint protection back on his car. And I worked and worked and worked. And he actually came in the first hour and actually helped me. The customer did. Actually, he felt bad for me and actually was starting to help me, because we were looking at the paint and trying to understand if it needed, paint protect or paint correction or what it needed on the car. And I worked on the car for a couple hours. I got clean, got the car, kind of polished out a little bit. And the guy came back up there to pick up his car, or he called me and he said, "Hey," I called him. I said, "Hey, I got your car looking so good, man. I want you to come back up here and look at it," because he wanted to look at the paint prior to me putting new paint protection back on. It was an older Porsche, and he didn't know what the paint looked like underneath.
Sure.
So I called him back up, and he goes, "Hey, man, how much do I owe you?" I said, "All I'm going to tell you is I really love Whistle Pig." And he goes, "Oh, okay." So he comes in there with a big bottle of Whistle Pig, lays it on the counter, looks at his car, and he's so happy with the way his paint protection came off the car. And we polished it. And you know what? I told him, I said, "Man, the car looks so great." I said, He ended up not getting paint protection on the car. He ended up leaving it off the car. It actually looks so matched the rest of the car and kind of blended, and it came out really well. And he goes, "Man, brother, I told you I really like whiskey." And I made a friend,
Sure.
I made a customer, and
Yeah.
I also made a relationship with this guy. And we popped open that whistle pig, and we both had a little sip of it together. And I said, "Sir," I said, "all I need for you to do is tell people about our company, and you to tell me the experience that you had here." And I said, "You're no longer a customer. You're now leaving a friend, because now we just did toast together."
Yep.
And I have a really big whiskey collection at my house, and a lot of people don't realize it came from all my customers.
That's hilarious. Well, and you're 100% right because, I mean, you're just 100% right. It should be clear why, but like, especially because, you're creating somebody out there who is, they're not just happy. They're going to go out and they're going to be a loudspeaker. This is the nicest guy. You can't take it anywhere else. It wasn't a good experience. It's the best experience. So, like, if you would have sat there, and I think it's one of the worst things you can ever do for somebody is if you sit there and bitch to somebody about how hard something is or how difficult or how annoying it was, like, I don't want you to tell me how difficult it was for you to do the job on my car. I don't mind if you tell me how many hours it took and how much work it was, but like, I want you to sound like it wasn't difficult. It should be easy to you. Even if it's hard, it's still easy, right? Because you're a professional. So what I'm saying is when people they start off right on the, how much is it going to be? Well, you have no, this was terrible. This was the worst thing. You're like, man, what are you doing to your customer? Like, the worst thing ever.
I was so excited that the paint looked so good. I was literally ecstatic after I got that old crappy, crapped out, spreckled. I was happy for the car.
Sure.
It was
Sure.
like it was like taking Pretty Woman to get her a dress. It was like, look how pretty she is.
Yeah.
And so I think when you look at the challenge and you understand that this customer was excited, but he was cautious. He was like, "Oh, I need to get it off. Do I need to do it?" And it's how you soothed him through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And that next customer who comes to you and you suggest they paint protection their entire vehicle and add ceramic coating to it, if they were referred by that other guy, they're going to go, okay,
Done.
yeah, I guess that's what I
Lay
need.
down.
Sure
Sure.
thing.
Yeah. Joe said to come see you. You take care of me. Okay, cool.
Done.
Bye.
Hey,
Done.
before I let you go, and I want to let you go because I know I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Liz left a comment that I just wanted to quickly talk about with you. She said, when we were talking about the name of the company and Sunstopper, she was saying, but that's what makes tint shops unique. Their names, tint shops should be unique to the people who own it, from shop name to logos to mission statements. Now, my thoughts are, yes, potentially, not all shops, because I think in her case, like, she's good at coming up with her mission statement and she's good at branding her brand. But but I feel like there's a whole side of the coin where some people are like, I just want to tint. I don't care about I don't want to do the rest. It's important, but I don't feel good at it.
Here. I had this conversation, Eric. It's very good that you brought this point up, because I had this conversation with a gentleman not too long ago. And here's the difference. When your name has your name in it, or it has, Joe's Window Tinting, let's per se, okay? And Joe, 20 years from now, has built up a good business and he wants to sell his business, but it's built around Joe and it's built around Joe's name.
Right.
You don't have a more valuable company to sell.
Sure.
That's all I'm trying to say, is that you're more valuable part of a group than you are individually. If you want to be an artist and you want to have your own individual name, I think it's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's awesome. It's a great career.
Sure.
But it's very hard to mass produce and grow and become part of when you get in this industry, I never thought there was an exit strategy. I want to be tinting windows when I'm 60 years old. I really do. I want to be able to tint a window. I still enjoy the artist side of me, still wants to tint windows. Okay. But the thing is, when you want to create value, when you want to create something that's worth something years down the road,
yeah,
it's got to be a sellable brand to someone else that wants to take it over. And I think it's going to create more value down the road for these littler shops that are now part of our organization. I just really honestly believe this, that when you have fit and finish, when you have a certain image and a certain presence and a certain formula, I think you're going to be able to be worth more money. I do.
Yeah. Well, no doubt about it. No doubt. I mean, to the point of the name, like you certainly could, if you're naming it like Joe's or something with your name in it, you're 100% right. And, something you brought up that I don't know if we've ever really spoken about here, but a common question is, what film do I choose? Well, the film you're choosing and the way your company looks but just the film you're choosing has an effect on the value of your company. If you're an Eastman dealer, you're an Expel dealer, or I'm not going to bash anybody, ABC Tint, that has a different effect
Sure.
on your sellability. So, all valid points. And it's just like you can go to Starbucks or you can go to somebody's craft coffee shop where they're going to slow pour your coffee and the owner's going to do it. And there's room
Man,
for
all
both,
I can
right?
tell you is I like QT coffee. I do. I like QT coffee. I go to QT or I go to Citco or I go to Exxon. I just want a cup of coffee to go for $1. Or I want one of those cappuccinos, a vanilla cappuccinos where you just, pour it in the little micro thing, makes it, and you go pour it yourself and it's $2. It's no problem. But I know every single time I go through a Dunkin' Donuts and every single time I go through a Starbucks, it's going to be pretty good.
Right.
I'm gonna pay a little bit more for it. I'm gonna pay a little bit more for it, but I really, really want that freaking, whole milk, hot latte,
Hmm.
however they make it. They make their formula.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so funny when I go to Chick-fil-A, they always say my pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
It was
and
something actually I adopted from them in our business and I'll still do it in Tint Wiz, like in our customer service. It'll
yeah,
be my
yeah,
pleasure, because my pleasure
my
is
pleasure.
the best two words you can possibly say to somebody. You're welcome. You're welcome's good. My pleasure. Absolutely. And that's what the other thing is, if you ask me something, I'm going to start with absolutely, because yes is yes,
Absolutely,
but absolutely sent me
absolutely.
absolutely my pleasure.
There's no question. Absolutely means there's no question.
It's no question. Yeah. And those,
Absolutely means no question.
it makes all the difference. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
it's little keywords, little keywords, little
Yep.
keywords. And the thing is, I'm not taking anything away from anybody doing great on their own. My first business was called Lighten the Mics. It was Mike, and I learned that it came at a fault because everybody wanted to talk to Mike. Well,
Right.
guess what? I don't want everybody talking to Mike. I want everybody to come in and talk to my people that work in the company. I want people that represent a company. You're coming
Yep.
in working for a company.
Yep.
And I tell everyone in this company, when you work for Sunstoppers, you work for a company that if you let the customer down and you let yourself down, you're letting other people down. You're not only letting me down, you're letting the other 20 something people that put food on their table. You now have more responsibilities.
Yep.
You now are held more accountable. You're held more accountable because
Yeah.
you're representing all of us.
You're part of something way bigger.
Yes. I tell people all the time, if I died tomorrow and I died, Sunstoppers would still live.
Right. And that's a good way to look at your systems. I'm just saying in general. I always throw this out there and I go, if somebody wants to, if you have a system in place and it's not bust proof, meaning if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, does the shop still open? If you get hit by a bus tomorrow, can the employee still price the jobs? Will the bills get paid? And will that happen if you get hit by a bus? If the answer is yes, you're in good shape. If the answer is no, work towards the answer being yes.
That's probably the smartest thing that you can educate people in this industry is how do you work yourself out of a job?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when you do work yourself out of a job, that's when you go rent a new building and go do it again.
Yeah.
Work yourself out of a job.
Yeah. 100%. And it's a very big task. It's tricky because you'll find yourself making steps forward and then you'll go, I just gave myself new jobs. And then you have to go, wait a second, because the jobs
Yeah.
essentially change. You're always going to have a new job, but it'll just
Let, let
change
me
as you go.
let me
Go
tell
ahead.
you this. You know what a good manager is?
Huh.
Somebody that doesn't have to do anything.
That would be ideal. That means everything's perfect.
A good manager is someone that doesn't have to do anything.
Yep. Yep. That's
It
the
means all the
goal.
systems are flowing.
That's it. I agree.
Yeah. So, I just, anyone that listens to this or watches this, just know I don't charge for my information. I had a guy call me from Colorado, and he wanted to try to pay me for consulting. And I said, listen, you can't consult I'm not going to charge you for knowledge that I have when I'll give it to you. And he goes, okay. And I gave him some advice and I coached him on just a few topics. And I told him, I said, if you fly me out there, I'll work in Tint Windows with you and answer the phones and put some systems in place, because, and whether you change your name or you don't change your name, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. It's knowing when I wake up in the morning that I have people that I can now use as part of a life source for me. I can't run. I can barely ride a bicycle. I can't box like I used to. So I have to find the new energy. I have to find the new force that pulls me to want to do more things. Okay. I'm very ambitious. I'm very driven. But my body is what used to give me the satisfaction. When I went boxing and I went to jiu-jitsu and I went to the gym and worked out for multiple hours, I don't have those resources available in my body to do the things I used to do. So my mind still works very good. My body, not so much. I still can work and I still can do things, but just not as good as I used to. So going out and feeling wanted and feeling needed and going out and going and helping other businesses succeed, it just brings me a lot of satisfaction. It really does.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I appreciate you doing this for the last hour and a half. I know you probably had a long day, and we just did this a couple weeks ago, so thank you for doing it again.
Man, I didn't realize I was going to do this again. We reached out to each other. I wanted to get back on the air because I was so humbled, man. I literally, and I'm a pretty emotional guy. I really am. I'm not afraid to cry. And when certain people start reaching out, I had some drinks on my back porch one night, and I was sitting there, and I just started to shed a tear, and I was just thankful. I was very, very thankful.
Cool. Well, um, thank you. And it's a good place to be. And I think, like, whether somebody out there is saying, I would never change my name and be a Sunstoppers, or whether
It's
they
fine.
are saying they want to, or whatever it is, it's like, it's all about what you can learn from it. And you're not over here saying, hey, we have a magic formula and you either
No.
join us or you're against us. You're saying, hey, I'll help for free. I'll do whatever you want. You want to be part of this? That's cool. If not, call me anyway. And that's the best attitude to have. And that's how you can provide the most value for the industry. So thank you.
I just tell people, you know what Costco is, right? In Sam's Club,
Sure.
you pay a yearly dues and you go in and you buy stuff. Well, we buy film at a bigger discount. We have coaching available. We have training available. We have sales. I literally, if people just would call me and let me coach them, I literally could put $15,000 to $30,000 a year more in their pocket every year, just off like one or two little things. And it's just part of the formulas, man. It's the things I've learned from my mistakes. I've hired and fired over
Sure.
40 or 50 window tinters, man.
Right.
And the thing is, man, I've become family members of some of these guys. I've become very close to some of these guys. But trying to make everyone happy, you will never be successful. You're never going to make everybody happy. That's just it. You can't. You try, you do the best job you can, but 9 to 5, we're talking about business. At 5:01, call me and I'll be your best friend. Talk to you about anything you want to talk about. We'll have a beer, do whatever. But 9 to 5, it's all about making money. It's all about business. It's all about trying to strive forward. And if people in the company have ambitions, the biggest thing that I can tell people that are in this industry is support the ones that are ambitious. Support them. Don't look at them as future competition. Look at them and invest in them. Invest in them and help them grow.
That's a very, very good advice. What's your email address?
My email address is mike@sunstoppers.com.
Cool. So anybody wants to reach out, it's probably the easiest way. And
Yeah. Instagram, I'm on Instagram at Sunstoppers. We have Sunstoppers Facebook, personal Facebook page, Michael Burke. Anybody wants to reach out to me, man. I love sitting on my back porch when I come home, and I don't even watch TV, man. I don't watch TV. I sit on the back porch, and I can't wait to talk to people on the phone, people in this industry, to let them know that they have someone that can understand what they're going through. A lot of these guys are fighting depression. They have plenty of money in the bank, but they have 2 kids. They're tinning. They don't know how to make customers happy. They don't know what to do in certain situations. Man, just call me. Not that I have the right answer, Eric. I don't always have the right answer, but I do have a answer.
Sure, and you have resources and you have other people to lean on and
I
call.
have, yes,
That's the whole
yes,
point. It's like you
yes,
learn from your own experiences, you learn from others. Hopefully both, you know?
yes. Yeah, yeah. And to be honest with you, in the last year and a half, 2 years, man, I'm growing as a person myself. I'm making leaps and bounds to become a better person. What I was 20 years ago, I probably would look at that guy and not even like him. You know, and well, who I am now, I'm evolving as a person myself. And as we get older, we change and we evolve and we learn from what we've done wrong and right.
That's the beauty and path of life. Don't expect things to stay the same. They're not supposed to.
They're not.
Yeah,
But
don't.
man, I just want to thank you again, man. Thank you for doing this Tint Wiz. And the thing that I would like to see in the future is to get more guys on here as a group. Get a group. The next time people want to get together, I don't care where they're from, what country they're from. We need to get a group of guys where we can do a round table discussion, not just with you, but I would love to have a round table discussion with 4, 5, 6 people on this at one time.
So I'm so in it, and so we'll make that happen, and I'll see you at a Sunstoppers location in the next like month or two, and we'll be tinting a vehicle together. So I'm serious about that, and I'm serious it'll probably be this summer, I'd imagine. So
I'd love it, man. You can stay at my place. I got a real nice
I
place.
saw
Got your guest
pictures.
bedroom.
I saw pictures. I think of your place. I already accept. I think you posted some pictures. I'm already saying yes based on what I saw. So you look like you live in a beautiful area of the country.
It's nice. We have seasons. I had people move here from Midwest and they go, man, we like Charlotte. And I go, why do you like Charlotte? There's 4 seasons.
Yeah. Hmm.
We have spring, summer. Well, spring, summer, fall, I guess you could say. Winters, so so.
I'm in land of the summer, but anyway, it was 110 degrees today. But anyway, I'll
It
let you
was
go.
it was in the 90s here. It was 90 here today.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's summer. It is what it is. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll let you go. Go have dinner. Thank you so much for doing this. We're gonna do it really
Man,
soon again.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, man. And this is a great resource for people. And like I said the first time, I didn't realize the traction that you had, and it's just very humbling, man. I'm just a window tinter, man, and I had to tell one of the guys, one of your buddies down in Florida, Tinology, those guys,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and I
Billy.
said, man, yeah, Bill, he's great. I love him. Man, he's an
Mhm.
awesome guy. And I said, man, it's just a sticker. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I can't let my apprentice and my tinner tint. I said, it's just a sticker.
Yeah.
Take if you don't like the sticker, rip it off and put a new sticker on.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I texted him the other day and I said it's just the sticker, and he just started laughing.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it can look. It can be easy to take it so seriously and be so focused on the
Yeah,
craft and so on that you just can't turn the
yeah,
Olfa over to somebody else. And at the
that's
end of
right.
the day, you wouldn't be tinning if nobody ever gave you that opportunity, probably. So
I was embarrassed to drive my first car, and I tinted it double limo, and I wrecked it a week later.
if only yeah. I didn't have AC in my car, so as embarrassed as I was, the tint didn't hide me from my first car. But anyway,
But
all right.
anyway, man, thank you so much for tonight, and I look forward to hanging out. Next, come see me.
Cool. Absolutely will do. Thanks everybody for watching and have a great evening. We'll see you on
See
Thursday.
you guys.
Bye.
All right, take care.